UFC 320 is reportedly going to feature Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez as the main event. This fight has drummed up a lot of criticism for multiple reasons. For one, they are wasting the short amount of time Volk has left in the sport on a shitty rematch with Yair. Especially when we've seen Yair get finished by Volk just 2 years prior. Volk has maybe 1 or 2 fights to go before he ends up retiring, and there's way more suitable opponents out there for him than Yair. I don't mind Yair Rodriguez, he's fine, but he shouldn't be up next for a title shot, especially because there's a more fitting top contender who has grafted his way through the best of the featherweight division in Mosvar. In the last 3 years, Mosvar has beaten Dan Ige, Diego Lopez, Arnold Allen, and Aljamain Sterling. Compare that to Yair's strength of schedule, where he had a pretty mediocre performance against an aged-out Pitbull, and then before that, back-to-back losses against Brian Ortega and of course Volk. Mosvar has had a very impressive run and he's beaten every guy that the UFC has put in front of him. Mosvar is undefeated, relatively young for the weight class, and it would be a tough fight for Volk. Obviously, I want Volk to retire on top as champion, but more importantly, I want the UFC to put on shows where the best fight the best, and they're going against that with the main event of UFC 320. If we were living in a world where Mosvar wasn't the real top contender, I wouldn't mind if Volk versus Yair happened, to be honest. It would be a pretty easy yet pretty credible win for Volk, and he would have yet another title defense to his name before retiring. With the amount of incredible fighters Volk has faced off against, Islam, Ilya, Max, Aldo, Lopez, some of which were on incredibly late notice or moving up in weight, Volk is the #1 guy who deserves a victory lap, racking up a couple title defenses against easier opposition and then bouncing out of the sport on top. However, when there's a clear top contender who's been taking out the best fighters in the division, going on an absolute tear like Mosvar, he should be the one getting the title shots. Mosvar has officially joined the ranks of Bilal and Leon Edwards as a fighter who needs to take out absolutely everybody, it seems like, in his weight class, so he cannot be denied a title shot any longer. I understand that every combat sports organization plays favorites, and that it's also an entertainment business at the end of the day, but this Mosvar situation is ridiculous and beyond a joke. The only reason why Yair is fighting Volk to begin with is because UFC 320 lands on Mexican Independence Day, and the card will be actually set in Mexico. I love that the UFC are branching out into other territories, but Yair just waltzing into the title picture for this event feels awfully contrived. You're also telling me that the UFC didn't go to Africa when they had the 3 kings as reigning champions, but they're more than happy to snuff Mosvar out of a title shot to have Yair Rodriguez headlining a Mexico card? Really? I can appreciate that Volk has a free, easy title defense come September, but I hope that the UFC can also make Volk vs Mosvar before he retires. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you down the road.